Okay, so Balaam, yes sir, we're on page 856. Balaam is on his way to go and curse the Jewish people. And so Hashem communicates with him. And Hashem says to Balaam on what do you call it? On page 858. First Hashem tells to Balaam not to go with the people. And Balaam, like anything else, he misreads that. He thinks Hashem is telling him it's about 5 lines from the top. Vayomer Elokim el Balaam, 858. Vayomer Elokim el Balaam, lo selechem, you don't go with those men. Lo so'or esa'am ki baruch hu. Do not curse the people because they are blessed. Now, Balaam misreads that. He thinks, sure, Hashem doesn't want me to go with them because somebody at my stature, this is beneath my dignity. Hashem is obviously concerned for my dignity because I'm such a faithful, loyal servant of Hashem. Remember we said yesterday, Balaam at a certain level is very loyal it serves God. His mistake is that he gets involved with other deities as well. But he thinks that when Hashem says, no, don't do it, it's because, you could always distort. It's easy to distort data. Hashem says, no, don't do it. Oh, what he really means is, don't go with these guys, because you, a person like you need to go with somebody a little bit more, much more prominent than them. Now, if you'll notice, where is it? Sorry, no, we're over here. Back on 858. Okay. Vayakam Balaam baboker v'yomer el sorry Balak l'chol artzachem. Go home. Ki mein Hashem le'siti l'alochem. Hashem doesn't allow me to go with you. Vayakumu sorry mo vayavo el Balak. Vayomer mein Balaam hilechim anu. They come back to King Balak and say, Balaam refuses to go with us. So Balak also hears, sure, the guy's got an ego that's out of control. So he sends even more, what do you call it? More prominent officials, and he says, I'll honor you, I'll give you whatever you want, just please come and curse these people for me. And then God says to Balaam at the bottom of the page, 4 lines from the bottom, Vayavo Elokim el Balaam laila. God comes to Balaam at night, and the prophets of the Goyim, God only comes to them at night. And because it's a lower level prophecy. If they came to call you, you could go with them. But again, there's a test now for Balaam. Now, God says to Balaam, okay, you go with the people, but you're going to do what I tell you. If you think that you're going to go and curse the people, you're in my control. You're under my control. Now we see from here, the Medrash says, "B'derech she'adam rotze leilech malichin oso." The way a person wants to go is the way he is led from heaven. Sometimes a person wants to do the right thing. You want to go on the right path, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu will help you and go to follow the right path. You want to, now God tried to stop him originally. He said, don't go. You persisted and you want to go. Now I'm going to show you, okay, that's what you want to do. Go ahead and do it. I'm not going to stop you, but I'm telling you right now, this is not a good thing. I'm not going to stop you, and I'll let you go. The Gemara says, "Habolet tahir mesayinoso." Somebody who wants to purify himself is actually given divine assistance. Habolet tameh, one who wants to defile himself, poschin lo. The door is opened for him. Doesn't say that he's helped in that direction, but he's not obstructed. Whereas a person who wants to purify, a person who wants to do the right thing, you're going to get some help. Hashem's going to help you. I get what we call siyata d'shmaya. Hashem will help us out. You want to defile yourself? Listen, I'm not going to stop you. Poschin lo. Okay, go ahead. I'm not going to push you, but I'm not going to pull you either. I'm not going to prevent you. So Balaam, when he shows that he wants to go, so Hashem says, all right, if you insist, it's not a good idea, but if you insist. Okay, you have a question, Ethan? Yeah, go ahead.
That idea with the direction a man wants to go, does that go according to a man's dreams, or does that go
according to man's what?
To a man's dreams?
No, we're not talking about dreams, because if it had to do with dreams, so then I'd be a very wealthy man right now. It doesn't. It's not like, oh yeah, you know which way I want to go. I want to go in the way of. I want to go in the way of billionaires. No, that doesn't. Somehow that doesn't. We're talking about doing the proper thing and serving God. If a person decides that, you know what, I really want to push through and I really want to, let's say, develop my learning skills. If you try, then Hashem is going to help you. If a person says, I really want to, I'd like to be a person who helps other people. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu will actually give you opportunities to help other people. Not necessarily the way you'd like. I'd like to be able to help other people by giving them money. But in order to do that, you have to have money. And if you're working in an institution that hasn't paid you in 6 months, so then it's difficult to give people money that you haven't got. So that's problematic. That's a small detail. Then again, it could all change overnight. It could all change overnight. All it takes is buying one lottery ticket, and it could all change. But so there's no guarantee, and we don't even know exactly how it's going to manifest itself. But one thing is clear: if you try, you sometimes get siyata d'shmaya. It's interesting. Sometimes a person. It's a snowy day. It's a cold, freezing, snowy day somewhere in the Midwest. I don't know if I'm going to schlep out to shul this morning. You know what? I'm going to push it. I'm going to go, I'll trudge through the snow. And you will step outside, and just as you step outside, some guy from 2 blocks away is passing in your house. The only other lunatic on the street is another frum Jew who's also going to shul. And so he says, hey, hop in, buddy, and he takes you to shul. So you see something like Kodesh Baruch helps you out. And that's one of many examples. It could happen in many other ways. But not dreams. I want to be the president, therefore I'll be the president. Only one guy gets there. Only one guy out of a whole lot get there. But you may advance further than you thought you could because you're trying. Yeah.
The question is, we said, for example, when God spoke to Yosef, He spoke to him through dreams or like through angels, but what is the virtue of Balaam that God speaks to him directly as the way He speaks to?
Good question. There are two answers. He's asking like this: what did Balaam do? Who we're going to see later on is a real lowlife. But what does Balaam do that he earns the prophecy? So the Gemara says that the nations of the world will say in the future, had you given us a prophet like Moshe Rabbeinu, then we would have also been good. But you see, there is a parallel between them. Because Moshe Rabbeinu and Balaam's prophecy, Moshe Rabbeinu's prophecy was said to be aspaklaria ha'me'ira. You know what aspaklaria ha'me'ira means? It means it's like what's called a clear looking glass. Moshe Rabbeinu, most of the prophets, the Nevi'im, their prophecy was, they accessed the prophecy, but there was a certain amount of ambiguity to it. There's a certain amount of interpretation that was needed. Moshe Rabbeinu's prophecy was absolutely crystal clear, and it had to be, because Moshe Rabbeinu had to give us the Torah exactly the way the Torah is meant to appear. Balaam is going to go and curse the Jewish people, but it's actually going to be a blessing. We can't have him fumbling around with blessings and curses. Maybe he's going to mess it up. And therefore, his prophecy is also going to be a crystal clear prophecy. But Balaam is chosen, again, it's difficult. You're asking a good question because the guy we're going to see, the guy's a real lowlife. But there was something about Balaam. He had apparently some merit that he was chosen, but then it shows the nations, well, I gave you a prophet, look what he did. He got involved in immorality, tried to cause the Jewish people to sin, and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, Hashem is trying to help him. We're going to see, because we're going to get into one, and now we're going to get into one of the stranger episodes of the Torah. Vayakam Balaam baboker, bottom of 858. Vayachavoshes asono, he saddles his donkey. Vayelech im sarei Moav, and he goes with the officials of Moav after giving permission. Now, Rashi points out over here an interesting thing in life. An interesting thing. Take a look, bottom, left column. Vayachavoshes asono. Left column, 4 lines from the bottom. He saddles his own donkey. You're talking about a very prominent individual. Could you imagine? It's like the President of the United States going and pumping gasoline into his own limousine. The President of the United States has to make a trip. So he goes down to his own limousine, starts pumping gas. All right, why would you do that? The only reason you do that is you're so excited to get somewhere and do something. What could cause that excitement? What generates that excitement? 2 possible opposite causes. Says Rashi. Vayachavoshes asono mikan shehasina mikalkelas es ashura. Hatred distorts rational thought. I mean, it just throws you off completely. He hates him so much. This is an important, prominent individual, and he runs down to saddle his donkey because he's so excited about going to curse the Jewish people. It's like you find this in Israeli politics that the people that they despise Netanyahu so much, they're willing to do things. The people who don't like Netanyahu are willing to do things that are just completely irrational. And the only thing underlying it is a hatred for him. Sometimes when you hate somebody so much, you're willing to do things that are ridiculous. Says Rashi, he saddled his donkey by himself. Why was he doing that? He's trying to show HaKadosh Baruch Hu how devoted he is to his mission. So what does Hashem say back? Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Rasha! Kvar kidamcha Avram avihem. Avram has already preceded you. Where did Avram precede him? Shenemar vayashkem Avram baboker vayachavos es chamoro. Avram got up in the morning and he saddled his donkey. What was Avram going to do? Sacrifice Yitzchak. I mean, most people on the way to sacrifice their only son, would probably, first of all, it says vayashkem Avram baboker. He got up early, which tells you, number one, that he slept. I mean, a guy is told to go slaughter his son. Do you think he'd sleep that night? It wouldn't be, goes to sleep. Why? Hashem said to sacrifice his son. That's what Hashem wants. What are you getting all nervous about? I mean, people lose sleep for a lot less. People lose sleep for getting nervous about getting their grades back on their midterms, and people can't sleep at night. People can't sleep because the next day they're making a trip. People can't sleep. You're so excited. And this guy, Avram Avinu, is going to slaughter his son. He manages to go to sleep. You understand what the Torah is telling you? You understand what kind of level of bitachon that is? You're totally relaxed. Sleep is you're totally relaxed. Avram Avinu makes no difference. What is that? Hashem wants to say, okay. So he goes to sleep. And then he gets up for Nate's. Vayashkem Avram baboker. He gets up early. Avram has no problem, gets up early. And he saddles his own donkey. What, saddling your donkey? Avram Avinu was a very prominent person, also very wealthy. He had hundreds of servants. Why are you saddling your own donkey? He's so eager to do the Ratzon Hashem, which is to go in, and what do you call it? To go in, and Balaam's pumping gas. I'm telling you, it's like can you imagine the vice president, the president of the United States pumping gas? What are you doing? I'm pumping gas. Joe, pump it into the right limousine at least. I'm pumping gas, and it's not gas, that's the water hose. At least do it if you're going to do it right. That sort of thing. It's completely out of here. What are you pumping gas? And you're so eager to do it. That's what Ava Mikalkelas is Ashura. Love distorts rational thought. People do crazy things for love, and people do crazy things for hatred. The guy's in love, that makes a total jerk out of himself because he's in love. He does the weirdest things. And people who are eager for something, those of you who have ever pledged for a fraternity house, for a frat house, because you're so eager to get into the frat house, so then you have to pledge and do all sorts of things there too. So a person, it bends rational thought. Now, that's level one. By the way, I heard once a story. It's an apocryphal story. I doubt that it really took place. Which was George W? Was that the son? The second Bush. He was George W. So apparently he was in the story goes that he was in the presidential motorcade, and they pulled into a gas station, which is unlikely. They probably had enough gasoline in there, but that's how the story goes. They pulled into a gas station, and his wife, Laura Bush, she gets out of the limousine, and she starts schmoozing with the gas station attendant while they're pumping gas. Then she gets back in, he says, "What was that all about?" She says, "Oh, that's a guy I knew in high school. I dated this guy in high school." So George Bush starts laughing. She says, "What are you laughing about?" He says, You could have married him, and instead you married the President of the United States." And she said to him, "You got it wrong, buddy. If I would have married him, he would have become the President of the United States." Which, by the way, there's a lot more truth to that than we'd like to admit. a lot more truth there than we like to admit. I doubt the story took place, but the Musar is true. Here, there's another lesson. What does it mean? Well, Avram Avinu went and Avram Avinu preceded you. Okay, because Balaam is trying to create a divine prosecution against the Jewish people. He's so eager. What's he trying to show? He's trying to show, I'm doing my stuff with energy, alacrity, and enthusiasm. Do the Jewish people do their stuff with such energy? Do you get up in the morning and run to minyan with the same energy that he goes and saddles his donkey? Do you try to get to shear as eagerly as he does? Do you try to do chesed as eagerly as he does? They're trying to create some sort of divine prosecution against the Jewish people. So what's the response? The response is good try, but no. They have that merit. You know what that merit is? It's Avram Avinu. And not only he has the merit, his merit overcomes your merit. Because your merit is assisted by the Yetzer Hara. When you're doing an Aveira, you've got the bad, they talk about planes traveling, we catch the tailwinds. So when you fly to America, it takes 12 hours. When you fly back, it takes 10 hours because you got the tailwind. Who's got the tailwind when you're doing a mitzvah, when you're doing an Aveira? Who's got the tailwinds? The mitzvahs do not have tailwind. Mitzvah, you're flying into the wind. The mitzvah, you're more eager to do an Aveira or do a mitzvah. I don't know about you. You may be at a very high level. Maybe one of the 36 hidden ones of the generation. But for most of us mortals, to get up and go to minyan is like, okay. Feels like walking into the wind, especially at about 7 in the morning, right, Shia? Yeah. About 7 in the morning. Not so easy. On the other hand, to leave shul early, I got a tailwind there. Especially if I'm rushing home to see the end, catch the end of the football game, which I shouldn't be doing. But I move like the wind, right? Because I got the wind. So that's Avram Avinu, you surpass Balaam, because Avram Avinu has to go against the Yetzer Hara, trying to convince him not to carry out God's will. That's a merit for the Jewish people. However, this goes further. Rabbi Moshe Feinstein says that what the Torah is really teaching us is that we have to look at the society around us. How much energy do the people in the society around us put into their pursuits? Watch a guy who's a lawyer starting out. How many hours a day does a lawyer starting out work? 16, 18. Does he? Is it true? Yeah, no. That's what they say. They sometimes sleep in the office. When you're starting out, they work. They're not working 9 to 5, that I can tell you. And they're working long hours, and sometimes they sleep in the office. That's what it takes. And when they're trying to develop technology, these guys they're married to the technology. Football coaches, the professional football, NFL football coaches, these guys never see their family during the season. They sleep at the office. Joe Gibbs was the coach of Washington Redskins. He used to sleep in the office, and a lot of them do. They're watching film, and they're going over to play. So what we as the Torah Jews have to do is say, 1 second. They're putting so much energy into that. Then how much energy are we putting into our service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Are we davening with our heart? Are we doing our chesed the way we should be doing it? Are we kind of dragging our feet? That's what the Torah, that's what Moshe Feinstein says, that's what the Torah is getting at over here. If a Balaam goes and does his Averas and Avram Avinu does his mitzvah, so where do I come in? I'm not Avram Avinu, I'm not Balaam. The lesson is, but take a look, that's the measure. That's the measure. You got people who are devoted to causes, in the world around us, that they Meshuggahers who go, go flying around, they go to the outer space, or they go down into the ocean. They're willing to risk their lives for these things. It's not like, it's not like they just discovered. I just read that I saw a headline. They've discovered a cave on the moon where people will be able to take shelter when they go up to the moon. Whew, now I can sleep. Now I can sleep at night. I was always wondering, where am I going to stay? I was always wondering, when I go up there, where am I going to stay when I make it to the moon? Now I know. There's a cave. There's a cave. That's my favorite. I think it's stocked, by the way. It's stocked with Pepsi. There's a cave on the moon. Just what I've always wondered. But they care. They care. Look at these astronauts. Look at these guys who stay up there. What do you call it? These guys go up to the space station. They're there for 6 months. Do you know that a group of astronauts just came out of a what do you call it? A simulator. They were in a simulator for a year. 4 astronauts were in a simulator for a year because they're simulating conditions on Mars for those who are going to go to Mars. I'm not, by the way. I'll probably be in Bnei Brak, but they're going to be going to Mars, and they simulate for a year. They're on Earth for a year. They were on. Not only that, when they would call their family, there's actually a 22-minute delay on the phone calls because that's what it's going to be like on Mars. Which is why I'm not going. And I'm not going. I'm not willing to. That's too much time. Too much of a time delay for me on the phone. So I'm not going to Mars. See, these people are devoted. That's what the Torah is teaching. Okay, now, let's see, because this is going to get bizarre. Hashem gets angry that Balaam is actually going. You misread the signals, Balaam. When I said you could go if you want to, that didn't mean you could really go if you want to. You were supposed to understand that I'm saying to you, and he doesn't deserve to have Hashem say, don't go. You've already taken steps in the wrong way, but I've said to you, yeah, you could go if you want to. I've told you, you'll see when you're married, if you say to your wife, when you say to your wife, oh, by the way, I just got a phone call, they rented a gym, is it okay if I run out? The guys, they need a 10th guy, we got a 5-on-5. On a Thursday night when she's getting ready for Shabbos and you got 12 guests coming. Is it okay if I go? You can go.
That's a no.
I didn't say it's a no, but you better know if it was a no. You can go. Right? Now, if she has her hands on her hips, you can go. Well, don't go. Whenever a woman has her hands on her hips, you're in trouble. Then you know, especially if it got there in a big loop. Like that, then you're in trouble. But, sometimes people say, yeah, you can. You better be right. So Hashem says to Balaam, you could go. You should have read it correctly. So Hashem says he gets angry, so to speak. An angel of God stops in the way. Balaam's riding his donkey. Vatera ha'ason, third line, 860. Vatera ha'ason es malach Hashem nitzav baderech v'charbo shlufa biyodo. The donkey, I think the she donkey, sees the angel of God with the sword. Vateit ha'ason min haderech vatelech basada. So it veers off of the path, and it goes off into the field. Now, here's the donkey. It's whoa. All right. Whoa. There's an angel with the sword. and he goes off into the field. The donkey goes off into the field. So that wasn't coconuts, by the way. There was a donkey. But he veers off. Vayach Balaam someone smacks it to get it back on the road. Boom. Right now, Balaam is going to be blamed for this. What just happened? Balaam's on the way. The donkey sees the angel. And by the way, donkeys have a better sight. Animals see more than the humans being when it comes to these spiritual things. And there's a Medrash says that if we were able to see what was lurking in the spiritual realm, the Gemara Bracha says there are Ipo Mitzidcha 1,000 on our left side, 1,000 demons, Shadim. 1,000 shadim to our left and 10,000 to our right. The Gemara says if a human could see what we're surrounded by, we go crazy. With all these, if you ever feel a little bit, kind of tight in here, it's kind of a little bit, I just can't get comfortable. We're getting a little bit of. We got some spiritual company that's pushing us. Got spiritual company. So Balaam over here has already made a mistake. What does he do? He hits the donkey. What's the next thing that happens? Vayamod malach Hashem b'mishal hakrobim, goder mizeh v'goder mizeh. Now the angel stops him in a narrower place. Vatera osones malach Hashem v'tilochetz el hakir. He pushes against the wall. Vatilchatz v'sregel Balaam el hakir v'yosef la'kosa. So Balaam hits him again. The donkey veers off into the field, then he switches and he goes to a place where there's a wall, the angel standing blocking the walls, and the donkey pushes Balaam's foot to the wall. And then The angel of God passes. Vayosef Malach Hashem Avor V'yama Mokom Tzar She'inderech stands in a narrow place. He can't go right or left. So the donkey crouches down. The donkey simply crouches down. What's going on here? What's going on here? So let's read 3 more psukim. Pasuk 27. V'atera also nesmach Hashem v'tirba tzachas Balaam v'yichar af Balaam v'yaches also b'makil. He hits it with a stick. Let me ask you a question. You're driving, and you're on your way to do something that you shouldn't be doing. You're on your way to a club, a casino, or some other entrance to Gehenna. And you're on your way. And as you're on your way, you're driving your car, and you really had a fight with your conscience. And I really shouldn't be doing this. It's in an inappropriate place, and what do you call it? There's all sorts of shenanigans, and who knows what's going to happen. You know what? I'm going to go. So you get into your car, you start driving. And after about a couple of miles, boom, you have a flat tire. So what do? You kick the car. You kick the tire. Then you kick it back in, you fix the tire, you keep driving. Boom. Another couple of miles, another flat tire. So you kick it again. Then you get to a, the third time. Boom. And this time you're so frustrated, so you say to the car, you know, if I had a hammer, I would smash you to pieces. I wouldn't even kick you, I'd smash you to pieces. Look what Balaam says to the donkey. He hits the donkey. Vayiftach Hashem es pia also. So Hashem opens the mouth of the donkey. Vatomer leBalaam, what did I do to you? Kiki zani zeshalosh shagam. You hit me 3 times. What'd I do? So what's Balaam's reaction? What would your reaction be if your donkey started talking to you? What would your reaction be if your car started talking to you? Right? All of a sudden your car talked. Was there a movie, Cars? Was there a movie? The movie Car. What if your car started talking to you? You kick the tire, and the car says to you, you know, why'd you hit me, bro? Yeah, what'd I ever do to you? That's all right. What would your reaction be? So what my reaction was, whoa, a talking donkey. And Balaam should have just jumped back and say, what's going on over here? What the heck? A talking dog. And Balaam just kind of, well, Ki's allowed to be. You know, you were mocking me. If I had a sword, I would kill you. Oh, just like that. Donkey talks, he talked back. You know, if the table just started talking to me, I'd say, oh, hi, table. You know, what are you talking to me for? You know, what'd I ever do to you? No, you'd be shocked. So what happened over here? First of all, let's go back to the beginning. If you kicked your car because the tire broke, and then you kicked it again and you threatened to beat it with a hammer or a baseball bat, what would you think of a person like that? You're out of your mind? What are you talking to your car for? In other words, what you're really doing wrong is you're blaming the wrong thing. At a certain point, you should have thought, listen, my car has never had a flat tire before, ever. It's ran perfectly. All of a sudden, while I'm on my way to do the biggest averas in the world, all of a sudden, boom, boom, boom. At a certain point, the person says to himself, maybe somebody's trying to tell me something over here. Maybe somebody's trying to tell me something over here. So what happened? Balaam, of all people, is a guy, this guy's into superstition, omens, and all sorts of, he looks at signs, and remember the movie The Omen? Did you ever see The Omen? Oh, I had nightmares for months. Right? Yeah, Damien! Right? You never saw, yeah. So they have The Omen. This is a guy who's always looking at omens. He's always reading omens. All of a sudden, you don't see what's going on over here, Balaam. You don't see that somebody's trying to tell you something, you of all people. And what is your reaction? So you go and hit the donkey? You think it's about a donkey over here? You're completely misguided. You misread the entire situation. That's what your conclusion is? Your conclusion is that you're going to go and hit the donkey? I remember when a certain basketball player, Magic, right? He was diagnosed with AIDS. It was in 92. 90, 91, 92. It was right before the Bulls started winning championships. So he's diagnosed with AIDS. So he had a press conference. What was his conclusion? His conclusion was, continue doing what you're doing, just be safe about it. That's what he said. Just be careful. Be more careful. That was your conclusion? That was your conclusion? If you saw a guy jump out of an airplane and his parachute never opened and he got killed and you're about to parachute, what would your conclusion be? And if you saw 5 people, if it happened to 5 people ahead of you, 3 people ahead, what would you do? I would just check my parachute better. No, I would go home and play checkers. That's what I would do. I wouldn't parachute jumping out of a plane. You misread the signs completely. He misread the signs. So what happens over here? Watch this. He goes off. Goes off into a field. First time is in a field. And he hits him. Next time is between 2 walls. It's a little narrower. And he hits him again. The third time there's no more room to move. There's an angel blocking the path with the sword. The Malach is standing there with the sword blocking the path. So the donkey crouches down. What's the Torah trying to tell us here? What are these three locations symbolized? What do you say?
When someone has an idea, there's no way to do it Avera, and they have more help from Hashem to not do it, before they get closer to the Avera, there's less of an opportunity.
Excellent. Exactly. That means when a person is a person is veering off the path. So the first time you do the Avera, it's easier to do tshuva. You got a wider area to turn around. The second time, it gets a little narrower. By the third time, it's already a habit. It's very difficult to do tshuva. Your free choice is almost taken away. Never completely taken away. A person can do tshuva at the end of his life. With his last breath, he can do tshuva. But the more a person is sunk into the negative habit, the harder it is to turn around. That's why it's always easier to do tshuva when a person is younger. Most Bali tshuvas are young. Most Bali tshuvas become Bali tshuvas sometimes between the late teens and the 30s. Very few people become Bali tshuvas when they're 60 and 70. Why is that? Because when you're young, the person turns around when he's 22 or 23 or 25 and says, you know what? I've been doing the wrong thing till now. It was great fun, but it's time to get serious. When a guy becomes 50, 60, 70, has a family, he's got to turn around and admit, the person's got to say, you know what? I mislived my entire life. You know how hard that is. There are individuals who've done that. There are individuals who say, you know what? I missed the boat until now. Now I finally got it right, and I'm going to do something about it. Most people, it'd be very difficult to do that. Not when you're 65, 70 years old. It's very difficult. You got to concede that everything you did was inappropriate and incorrect. I mislived my life. That becomes difficult. In the beginning stages, it's easier to turn around. You can fall into the habit. Sometimes, unfortunately, there are kids who come from Torah homes or from religious homes, and the first time they flick a light switch on Shabbos, and a guy says, "I'm not going to be religious anymore." So it's Shabbos, and they flick the light. It's like you flick the light switch, and you're waiting for the lightning to strike. The second time, it's more like, and by the third time, it becomes a habit, second nature. Not even thinking about it anymore. That's unfortunately true with many habits in life. Habits could be broken, but the more you get sunk into the habit, that's the first thing the Torah is teaching us. The second thing the Torah is teaching us, and this is a real shocker, when was this she-donkey created? Does anybody know?
The beginning of the world.
The beginning world, the Erev Shabbos, at the time of creation. And what's it trying to do over here? It's trying to get Balaam not to do the Avera. The Vilna Gaon says there were 10 signals. He was given 10 messages in this episode about not doing what he's supposed to do. And you see from here that the Torah is telling you, even a lowlife, a no goodnik, a sinner, a rasha like Balaam, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants him to do tshuva, not to punish him. First, he wants a person to do tshuva. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not out to get us. That Christian idea, the devil with the pitchfork, make my day. Here comes another one. Into the fire. That's a Christian idea. That's not a Torah idea. We just think that God is just waiting for us. Come on, mess up. He's from Texas. Come on, make my day. No, that's not. It's not a Torah idea. Kosh Baruch Hu wants to help us. He's trying to get us to do the right thing. So Balaam over here, the first thing he does is what he starts smacking it. Now, the Torah says Hashem opens the mouth of the donkey. What did the donkey say to Balaam? If you take a look at the Gemara in Avodah Zarah, there was a whole conversation here. The donkey stops moving. Now he's around the officials. And the donkey says to Balaam, he says, why'd you hit me? He says, why'd you stop moving? So the Gemara says that the official said to Balaam, why are you riding a donkey? A prominent individual like Yeshivat, a nice big stallion, a white stallion. Why are you riding a donkey? He goes, where's your horse? He goes, I left the horse at home. Donkey says, that's not true. You always ride me. He says, no, only once in a while. He says, no, you ride me all the time. Not only that, you ride me by day and you commit bestiality with me at night. And this is in front of the people. This is in front of people. I can imagine their reaction like, oh, this is awkward. And the donkey's talking. Now, at no point does Balaam turn around and say, that's not true. Where are you making this story up from? Let me ask you a question. If you were there, why didn't Balaam try to deny it? Gemara says that's what he accused him of. He said, yeah, I'm your what do you call it? I'm your nighttime companion. So why didn't Balaam say something to the donkey? He's like, hey guys, you believe me or the donkey? Why didn't Balaam try protesting? What's the answer?
He wouldn't win in that debate.
Why?
Because people will believe it, not the talking donkey.
Why would you believe a talking donkey?
That's miracle.
Right. If a donkey's going to talk, it's going to be the truth. And if Hashem's not going to open a donkey's mouth so that the donkey can tell jokes and lies. This isn't a donkey who's looking to ruin people's reputation on the internet. This is donkey's talking. And by the way, donkey has no intelligence. This donkey had no intelligence. It would be no different than opening this book and having this book talk, right? There's no intelligence in the donkey. It's just at the mouth of the donkey. What's the point? What's the whole point of this, of having a donkey talk as a message to Balaam? What's the point? Hashem is telling Balaam, I control the mouth of the donkey. I can make a donkey speak. So I can make a human being not speak, and I can make you speak what I want you to speak. You're going there to curse the Jewish people? I control you. You're going to be able to curse the Jewish people. You're going to say exactly what I want you to say and nothing else. And the message of the donkey is, if Hashem could control a donkey talking, so he's telling Balaam, you wouldn't expect the donkey to talk? By the same token, I can stop a human being from talking, and I get him to say whatever he wants. So we'll see tomorrow. There's more about this donkey. Mirz Hashem.